Have you ever noticed how easily people lose control of their emotions? A single insult can ruin someone's entire day. One moment of criticism can trigger anger, frustration, or insecurity, and sometimes just a small inconvenience is enough to throw someone completely off balance. In a world full of pressure, conflict, and constant noise, staying calm has become a rare kind of power. But the ancient Stoic philosophers understood something most people still struggle to learn today. Your peace of mind should never be controlled by other people. You cannot control what others say about you. You cannot control how people behave, and you cannot control every situation life throws in your path. But you can always control how you respond. In this video, we'll explore 15 powerful Stoic principles that will help you stay calm, composed, and mentally strong, no matter who challenges you or what situation you face. Because true strength is not loud, true strength is calm. Principle 1. Control your reaction, not the situation. One of the first lessons Stoicism teaches is that your power lies not in controlling events, but in controlling your response to them. Life will always present situations that challenge your patience. Someone may insult you, criticize your work, or behave unfairly toward you. In those moments, many people react instantly, raising their voice, defending their ego, or allowing anger to take control. But the Stoics understood something most people overlook. Reaction is a choice. The moment between an event and your reaction is where your true strength exists. When you pause, breathe, and observe your emotions instead of immediately acting on them, you create space for wisdom to guide your behavior. A calm mind sees more clearly. It understands that many conflicts are fueled not by the original problem, but by emotional reactions that make everything worse. When you train yourself to respond thoughtfully instead of reacting impulsively, people may try to provoke you, but they will fail, because your peace of mind is no longer in their hands. And once you master your reactions, you begin to master your life. Principle 2. Do not take everything personally. Many people suffer emotionally because they assume that everything others say or do is somehow about them. A rude comment feels like a personal attack. Someone's bad mood feels like rejection. A disagreement feels like disrespect. But Stoic philosophy encourages a different perspective. Often people's behavior reflects their own struggles, fears, or frustrations, not your worth. Someone who is angry may simply be having a difficult day. Someone who criticizes you may be projecting their own insecurities. Someone who misunderstands you may simply lack the information to see the full picture. When you take everything personally, you give strangers enormous power over your emotional state. But when you understand that most people's actions are driven by their own inner world, you gain emotional distance. Instead of reacting with anger, you respond with clarity. Instead of feeling attacked, you remain grounded. This simple shift in perspective allows you to protect your peace. And the truth is powerful. Not everything deserves a reaction, and not everything is about you. Principle 3. Pause before you respond. In moments of tension, emotions move quickly. Words are spoken without thought. Decisions are made in anger, and small conflicts can escalate into lasting damage. The Stoics practiced a simple but powerful habit. They paused. Before responding to criticism, before reacting to provocation, before speaking in moments of frustration, they gave themselves a moment of silence. That pause may seem small, but it is incredibly powerful. When you pause, your emotions begin to settle. Your mind gains clarity. Instead of reacting blindly, you gain the opportunity to choose a wiser response. Most people allow emotions to control their words, but those who pause regain control of the situation. A calm pause can prevent arguments, avoid misunderstandings, and protect relationships. It also sends a subtle message to others. You are not easily provoked. In a world where many people react instantly, the ability to pause makes you stand out. Because calmness is not weakness, it is a form of self-mastery, and often the strongest response is not an immediate reply, but a moment of thoughtful silence. Principle 4. Recognize that most things are temporary. One reason people lose their calm is that they believe every problem is permanent. A difficult conversation feels like the end of a relationship. A mistake feels like a lasting failure. A stressful moment feels like it will never pass. But Stoic thinkers constantly reminded themselves of a powerful truth. Everything is temporary. Situations change, emotions pass. Problems that seem overwhelming today often become distant memories tomorrow. When you remember the temporary nature of events, you begin to view challenges with greater perspective. The insult that felt unbearable a few minutes ago loses its weight. The stressful situation that triggered anxiety becomes easier to handle. This perspective allows you to step back emotionally and avoid overreacting. Instead of saying, "This is terrible," the Stoic mind asks, "Will this matter a year from now?" Most of the time, the answer is no. When you learn to see problems through the lens of time, your mind becomes calmer and more resilient, because you understand that difficult moments are simply passing waves in a much larger ocean, and no wave lasts forever. Principle 5. Silence is often the strongest response. Many people believe they must respond to every criticism, defend themselves in every argument, and prove their point whenever someone challenges them. But the Stoics recognize something most people forget. Not every battle deserves your energy. When someone tries to provoke you, they often expect a reaction. They want anger, frustration, or an emotional response that confirms their power to disturb your peace. But when you respond with silence, something unexpected happens. The conflict loses its fuel. Silence is not weakness, it is control. It shows that you are not easily manipulated by emotions or by the opinions of others. A calm silence can be more powerful than the most carefully crafted argument. It communicates confidence, restraint, and inner stability. Of course, silence does not mean avoiding every difficult conversation. There are moments when speaking is necessary, but many conflicts exist only because two people refuse to stop reacting. When you choose silence in the face of unnecessary drama, you protect your energy and your peace of mind. And sometimes, the most powerful thing you can say is nothing at all. Principle 6. Do not let others control your emotions. One of the greatest forms of power a person can have is emotional independence. Yet, many people unknowingly hand over control of their emotions to others. A rude comment ruins their mood. A negative opinion shakes their confidence. Someone else's behavior determines whether they feel calm or angry. The Stoics believed this was a dangerous way to live. When you allow other people's words or actions to control your emotions, you give them power over your inner world. Your peace becomes fragile, constantly dependent on how others behave. But a Stoic mindset refuses to surrender that control. Instead of reacting emotionally to every situation, the Stoic reminds himself, "This person cannot disturb my mind unless I allow it." This shift in thinking is incredibly liberating. People may criticize you. They may misunderstand you. Some may even try to provoke you deliberately, but their behavior does not have to dictate your emotional state. Your calm belongs to you. And when you truly understand that your emotions are your responsibility, not anyone else's, you develop a level of inner stability that very few people possess. Principle 7. Accept that you cannot control other people. One of the fastest ways to lose your peace of mind is to try to control how other people think, act, or behave. You may want others to understand you. You may want them to treat you fairly. You may hope they will always act rationally or kindly. But reality rarely follows our expectations. The Stoics understood that every person has their own beliefs, emotions, and struggles. Trying to control them is like trying to control the weather. It only leads to frustration. Instead of wasting energy on what cannot be controlled, Stoicism encourages you to focus on what belongs to you, your actions, your character, and your choices. When you accept that people will sometimes misunderstand you, disagree with you, or behave poorly, something remarkable happens. You stop feeling surprised or offended by human behavior. You become calmer in difficult interactions. You stop trying to change everyone around you and instead concentrate on becoming stronger yourself. This acceptance does not mean approving of bad behavior. It simply means understanding reality. And once you accept reality as it is, you regain control of your peace. Principle 8. Do not argue with ignorance. Not every disagreement is worth your time. Many arguments exist not because people are searching for truth, but because they want to prove themselves right. In these situations, logic rarely changes anyone's mind. The Stoics recognize that arguing with someone who refuses to listen is often a waste of energy. When two people become emotionally invested in winning an argument, the conversation stops being productive. It turns into a battle of egos. A Stoic approach is different. Instead of trying to force others to accept your viewpoint, you calmly express your perspective if necessary, and then let go. You understand that some people are not ready to see things differently, and that is okay. Your peace of mind is more valuable than winning a pointless argument. By refusing to engage in unnecessary conflicts, you preserve your mental energy for things that truly matter. Wisdom is not always about speaking more. Sometimes wisdom is knowing when a conversation no longer deserves your attention. And walking away from pointless arguments is often a sign of strength, not weakness. Principle 9. Train your mind to stay calm under pressure. Calmness is not something that appears automatically in difficult moments. It is something that must be trained. Just like the body becomes stronger through repeated exercise, the mind becomes calmer through repeated practice. The Stoics regularly prepared themselves for challenges. They reflected on potential difficulties before they happened, mentally rehearsing how they would respond with patience and clarity. This practice helped them remain composed when real problems appeared. When pressure rises, during conflict, stress, or uncertainty, most people allow their emotions to take control. Their thinking becomes clouded and their reactions become impulsive, but a trained mind responds differently. Instead of panicking, it slows down. Instead of reacting emotionally, it observes the situation carefully. Over time, this practice creates a powerful mental habit. Difficult situations that once caused anxiety become manageable. Stressful moments become opportunities to practice calmness. And gradually, you develop a reputation that few people possess. Someone who remains steady even when everything around them becomes chaotic. Principle 10. Remember how small most problems really are. When you are caught in the middle of a stressful moment, problems often feel enormous. A disagreement feels like a disaster. A mistake feels like a failure. A moment of embarrassment feels unforgettable. But the Stoics practice something called perspective. They would step back mentally and view their problems from a wider point of view. From the perspective of a year, most arguments are forgotten. From the perspective of a decade, many worries become insignificant. From the perspective of a lifetime, countless concerns simply disappear. When you zoom out and look at life from a broader view, many problems shrink dramatically. This does not mean that difficulties are meaningless, but it reminds you that most situations are not as catastrophic as they initially appear. By practicing this wider perspective, you prevent small problems from overwhelming your mind. You learn to respond calmly rather than emotionally, because the Stoics understood a simple truth. Most of the things that disturb us today will barely matter tomorrow, and remembering this makes it much easier to stay calm. Principle 11. Do not let anger make your decisions. Anger is one of the fastest ways to lose control of your mind. When people feel attacked, insulted, or treated unfairly, anger often appears instantly. In these moments, many people speak harsh words, make impulsive decisions, and later regret what they said or did. The Stoics viewed anger as a dangerous emotion, not because feeling anger is unnatural, but because acting while angry clouds judgment. When anger takes control, the mind stops thinking clearly. Small problems become bigger, words become sharper, situations escalate unnecessarily. That is why Stoic thinkers trained themselves to delay action whenever strong emotions appeared. Instead of reacting immediately, they gave themselves time to calm down. Once the emotional storm passed, they could look at the situation more rationally. Very often, what felt like a serious problem in the heat of the moment becomes far less important when viewed with a calm mind. True strength is not about never feeling anger. It is about refusing to let anger control your actions. Because decisions made in calmness are almost always wiser than decisions made in rage. Principle 12. Expect imperfection from people. Many frustrations in life come from unrealistic expectations. We expect people to always be fair. We expect them to always be rational. We expect them to treat us the way we treat them. But human beings are imperfect. People make mistakes. They misunderstand situations. They act emotionally, selfishly, or irrationally at times. The Stoics believed that understanding this reality helps protect your peace of mind. If you expect perfection from people, you will constantly feel disappointed and frustrated. But if you accept that human beings are flawed, their behavior becomes easier to understand. When someone acts unfairly, you are less shocked. When someone behaves poorly, you are less emotionally affected. Instead of reacting with anger, you respond with perspective. This does not mean tolerating injustice or allowing people to mistreat you. It simply means recognizing that imperfection is part of human nature. And when you stop expecting perfection from others, you free yourself from many unnecessary frustrations. Principle 13. Protect your inner peace above everything. Many people spend enormous energy trying to prove themselves right, defend their reputation, or win arguments with others. But the Stoics believe that something far more valuable should be protected: your inner peace. Your peace of mind is the foundation of clear thinking, wise decisions, and emotional stability. Without it, even small problems can feel overwhelming. This is why Stoic thinkers were careful about where they invested their energy. They avoided unnecessary conflicts, pointless arguments, and situations that constantly disturbed their mental balance. They understood that not every opinion deserves attention, and not every disagreement deserves a reaction. Sometimes the most powerful choice is to step away from situations that disturb your peace. When you prioritize inner calm over ego, something interesting happens. You stop reacting to every small provocation. You become less affected by negativity, and your mind remains steady even in challenging situations. True strength is not proving yourself to everyone. True strength is protecting the calm state of mind that allows you to live wisely. Principle 14. Choose reason over emotion. One of the central ideas of Stoic philosophy is that reason should guide your actions, not uncontrolled emotion. Emotions are natural. Fear, frustration, sadness, and anger are all part of being human. The Stoics never suggested eliminating emotions entirely, but they believed that emotions should not become the leaders of our decisions. When people allow emotions to dominate their thinking, they often react impulsively. They say things they regret, damage relationships, or make choices that create bigger problems later. Reason, on the other hand, allows you to step back and evaluate a situation more clearly. A rational mind asks questions before reacting. Is this situation really worth my anger? Will my reaction improve the situation or make it worse? What response would I respect if I saw it in someone else? By practicing this habit of reflection, you strengthen the part of your mind that values wisdom over impulse. Over time, reason becomes your guide. And when reason leads your actions, calmness becomes much easier to maintain. Principle 15. True strength is calmness. In many cultures, strength is often associated with loudness, aggression, or dominance. People believe that raising their voice, reacting quickly, or showing anger makes them appear powerful. But the Stoics believed the opposite. True strength is calmness. A calm person is not easily provoked. They do not lose control when someone insults them. They do not panic when situations become stressful. Instead, they remain steady. This kind of calmness creates a quiet form of authority. Others may argue, complain, or react emotionally, but the calm individual remains composed, and that composure often commands respect. Calmness also protects your ability to think clearly. When your mind stays steady, you make wiser decisions and avoid unnecessary conflicts. Over time, people begin to notice something different about you. While others react emotionally to every situation, you remain centered. While others are overwhelmed by stress, you remain focused, and that quiet stability becomes your greatest strength. Because in a chaotic world, the person who remains calm holds the real power. Conclusion. In the end, staying calm is not about suppressing your emotions or pretending that nothing affects you. It is about training your mind so that your peace is no longer controlled by the chaos of the world. People will criticize you. Some will misunderstand you. Others may try to provoke you, challenge you, or test your patience. But Stoicism teaches us a powerful truth. Your inner peace should never be placed in someone else's hands. When you learn to pause before reacting, when you stop taking everything personally, and when you accept that many things are outside your control, something remarkable begins to happen. You become harder to provoke, harder to disturb, harder to emotionally manipulate. Your mind becomes clearer, your decisions become wiser, and your presence becomes calmer in situations where others lose control. In a world where many people react instantly with anger or frustration, the person who remains calm holds a quiet kind of strength. Because calmness is not weakness, calmness is mastery over yourself. But remember, this kind of inner strength is not built overnight. It grows slowly through daily awareness and practice. So here is a question for you. Out of these 15 Stoic principles, which one resonated with you the most? Was it learning to pause before responding, protecting your inner peace, or realizing that most problems are smaller than they appear? Let me know in the comments below. I genuinely love to hear your thoughts, and if you enjoy content about Stoicism, mental strength, and personal growth, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss future videos, because here we explore timeless wisdom that can help you build a calmer mind, stronger character, and a more meaningful life. Thank you for watching, and remember, the calmer your mind becomes, the more powerful your life becomes. I'll see you in the next video.